Testing audio.
Test. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, my name is Jeremy. I'll be proctoring the meeting tonight.
Okay, Jeremy, how are you today?
I'm good.
Appreciate you doing this.
Good evening, Steve.
Hey, Harry, how are you today?
Doing well. Let me just grab my other glasses. Actually, these are fine. Steve, I got to be honest with you. I think we could have a committee-based group for the cemeteries, and maybe maybe have someone come on a part-time kind of thing to do the. I know nothing about cemeteries, but
Yeah. The big issue is the legal documentation,
yeah,
filing for burials and selling plots, keeping track of it and all of that. I think, yeah, it would be a part-time job to start with. I think and then you get revenue for that, which would cover
yeah,
that expense for the most part, I think. But then the maintenance is what the expense is.
yeah,
You got to trim the grass around every gravestone. If you want to do it properly, you're probably every 7 to 10 days at a minimum, right?
yeah.
During the summer. So
Yeah.
that's 20 times.
So like Steve, the little one over by Sunset Hill there, there's,
Yeah.
That's, I would assume, full. And is that just sit there? I mean, is there anyone who has jurisdiction over it, or what is it?
Well, that is abandoned. There's no trustees, there's no endowment, there's no nothing. So no one's been buried there in probably 80, 100 years.
Yeah. So it's really like a historical place, right? No?
It is. So the town has been maintaining it, but we've never legally or officially taken control over it.
Mhm.
So we did some tree work this year. We're trying to cut it 3 or 4 times a year and trim it. We're still doing more work.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, there's one up behind, the stone place on Grays Bridge?
Yes.
There is a cemetery up on the hill behind them.
You told me that, and I have not, I can't imagine, I've never
It's,
had any
you
inkling of
can't
that.
see it. It's
So down the dirt road? Down the dirt road?
No, it's landlocked. It's surrounded by private properties and that stone business. And it's completely overgrown with trees. It's a mess. It's just been abandoned, but never taken care of in any way, shape, or form. It's going back.
How many gravestones are there? Do you know?
I don't know, 80, 100, I'm not sure.
That many?
Quite a few, yeah.
Have you heard
Right.
from the diocese with their proposal?
No, Jeff Nolan sent me a letter, but it was just basically a letter, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah.
It's not the plan we asked them for.
Yeah.
I'm going to write back to them tomorrow and say, that's not what we asked for. We asked for a complete plan. Here's the revenues, here's the expense, here's what it costs to do this, here's what it costs to do that. We didn't get that. It was a nice letter, but it didn't answer what our question.
I
Do you
gotta
think
say,
they're
Steve, with all, and Sue, with all due respect, I felt like I was on Jerome Avenue at a used car lot. Really, I mean, I find, I just found
Here's the thing.
from the diocese to be really kind of edgy.
Yeah, and the way I saw it was the diocese wants to take over all the revenue part and give us all the expense part.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's not going to work for me. I'd rather take it over as a town. It would be less expensive for us.
Yeah.
At least we would have some revenues coming in to offset the expense of maintaining the cemeteries.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for trying, but you're right. It was a hard sell.
I mean, he was
Well-
very coarse. I mean,
Yeah, he jumped on us.
yeah.
But I think it's just that Jeff had conversations for a while with whom, I don't know, but he's just ready to say, I'm done. And he wasn't getting anywhere with the town taking it over.
Right.
So he's just like, okay, here you go. I've got a solution for you.
So if we were going to maybe try to start at ground zero and just have a informational meeting, just who,
First, I'd like to know their numbers. Where are you?
Yeah.
What's your revenue? What's your expense? What's your income? And then we might be able to bring a plan to the town for taking these over, because if they walk away, let's face it, we can't abandon these cemeteries.
Steve, I think you made me the host because I've got a screen here saying Ginny wants to get in. Should I admit
And we
her?
have Jeremy there too.
Here, I'll unco-host you. I got
Oh,
you.
okay.
We just let her in. So I think we just have to see what it is before we bring any proposals to the town. This is a tough time to ask the town to take on more responsibilities.
Yeah.
Expense.
Well, but what are you gonna do? It's either the diocese or we take it on.
But
I have no problem. I have no problem with the diocese taking it over, but take the whole thing over, not just the revenue part.
Well,
if
yes, I
if
know.
we were going to have a meeting, I mean, who would we want to have? If we we're going to have a meet, just like a ground zero, what do we got? What do we got to work with here? Or what are we dealing with?
Right.
Who do you think we would, the three of us, who else?
I would want to include a town that's doing it right now. Maybe a town that does one of each. Someone who's with the diocese, someone who's doing it on their own.
I don't know
learn
that
from their-
anybody's doing it with the diocese. I
I
don't
thought you
think,
said there was a whole bunch of towns that were.
the diocese, I don't know.
They've
I
taken it
didn't
over.
hear that. I could be wrong.
That they've taken it over. Now, what towns turned it over to them, I don't know, but maybe that would be something else we'd want from him, because
Yeah, I'll
we
ask-
want names and phone numbers of who to talk
Yeah,
to.
I'll ask Jeff, whom the diocese
5:30.
has worked with before. Okay, Jeremy, why don't we start letting people in because it's 5:30,
Sounds good. I was just about to.
and then we'll continue this conversation after we have more detail.
Okay.
So I'm going to call this meeting to order, and will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I have a flag.
You do? Okay, you're going to
I
wave it?
do. Yeah.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the
Allegiance
flag.
to
of
the flag,
United States
States
of
of
America,
America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Okay. So, just we have one person on so far. So why don't we just go to the police department first? Just do that and get it over with.
Mhm.
So the police department wants to put up a temporary structure to store two of their vehicles in between the house and the garage at the 43, the old Grimes property.
Yep.
But back. So here's one, here's the house, here's the garage. It would be on the town side at the edge of the property and go partly onto the town property.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The map that we saw at the Board of Selectmen meeting, is it different?
No,
Okay, no. So we just have now done the measurements and realized that it's actually on part of the town.
oh yeah,
not
we,
just-
we knew it was
okay.
going to be, but here's the problem that we have. Zoning does not allow you to build a structure on two separate legal parcels.
Okay.
So I asked Tom Beecher to put together a deed just merging all the properties, because the town is never going to sell that or the one on Pocono, the other Patak property,
Mhm.
where the Friday night farmer's market is.
Right.
So I think we should just join those properties
Mhm.
right into the town campus. It does require a referral from the planning commission. So what I think we should do is agree to send that to the selectmen send an 824 referral request to the planning commission for the temporary storage garage and the merger of two properties, 43 Silver Mine and 108 Pocono Road, into the municipal campus. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second,
Oh, I got 2
either
seconds.
one, take your choice.
So there's no real negative to this, because I don't think the town, under any circumstances, would ever sell either of these properties. It's just not,
Is there a tax effect at all?
no. Joe Grimes paid taxes.
No, but I mean, if we merge it, is it a less tax, will the taxes be smaller if we merge them, or the same, or?
Well, the town owns it, so there are no
Okay.
taxes.
Oh, that's right. What am I thinking?
Right?
It
And
would be
the-
potential, Harry, in the future if we were to sell one to get
Sold it.
taxes, but
Right, right.
But in both properties, when the town made the original agreement to buy them from the Patak family, we bought the properties with the agreement that they would not pay any taxes during their lifetimes while they were staying in those properties. So it went from non-taxable to Joe Grimes taxable Now it's back non-taxable. Is about $4,000 a year tax for the 43 silver mine. So I don't see any negatives or downside to this at all. It just would make it easier for us to do whatever we want with these properties,
Mhm.
right?
I
I mean, it
agree.
It's
is,
a logical thing.
yeah. I mean, it's really all our property anyway.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
putting it under one name. Yeah. Mhm.
You agree, Harry?
Yes, yeah.
So I made that motion. Any further discussion? Nope. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So we'll send that referral to the planning commission and ask them to review and approve and come back to us. And then we can make the motion to merge the properties.
Is this postponing when they can put the shelter up?
Yeah, but the planning commission will meet next month. We'd like to do it as quickly as possible, and we'll ask the planning commission to review it and get back to us as quickly as they can.
Because we wanted to put a slab down. I
Yeah.
can't believe you can do that now.
No, I don't think we're gonna be able to do it till spring.
Yeah.
Too cold, so another month is not gonna make a difference.
Steve, did the number, did the cost that Jay brought to us, did that include the slab?
Yeah, it did,
Okay. Oh, I
Included
didn't realize that. Okay.
included everything. And hopefully, these aren't the most attractive buildings, these Quonset hut looking things, but this property is just getting destroyed, sitting outside. So it's the thing to do. We do need to find a longer term solution to keep vehicles, especially ones that are not used that often, out of the weather. It's just, it prolongs the life of
Who was-
of
Who
every-
made us the offer?
No. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sue.
Who made us the offer our last meeting? Said that they had space. They weren't rent it, but
I thought, oh my goodness, not Howard. The
I'm drawing a
water,
blank.
the water.
oh, yeah,
W-
yeah, Nelson.
Nelson. I thought
Nelson, yeah.
Nelson.
Yeah, they've got a garage in the back of their building. And it was very nice of them to ask, but that could probably hold one vehicle,
Mm.
right?
Steve,
Because
all those, all
They
those,
keep their vehicles in there.
all those
so-
distribution buildings down there on Silver Mine, I mean, there's got to be vacant space in there that we could.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, but those are private buildings. They want to rent those out. So I'm sure Roy Young would let us use it, but then he could kick us out in 2 months.
Well, I'm just saying until we can get, until we could get this, if it's,
Yeah, but I don't think any of those buildings have a drive-in. They do have docks,
oh, you're right, yeah.
right? But I don't think they have,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that
Dan
might be the case.
gave a note, none of those buildings are monitored by the police department cameras, which
Mhm.
is important. These are police vehicles with very expensive equipment inside of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good point, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So is anybody on from the public? Jeremy, I saw a number there, but I don't see anybody anymore.
I think that was Ginny's phone connecting
Oh.
to her iPad.
Okay.
Where's Will and Jean?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Oh,
I'm-
hope they're
I'm just-
okay.
I'm cut to the quick. They usually join us every time.
Mhm.
Is there a Candlewood Lake Authority meeting tonight?
No, not that I'm aware of, unless he's on a subcommittee. Steve, I know you put out something for COVID on Friday. Anything else you wanted to share here?
Yeah, I want people to, we've gotten a lot of phone calls. One of the questions was, how do I know my information will be safe, right? And we do have a very secure system when people fill out the form and send it in to us.
Oh, you're saying that if they're over 65 and they want to be able to get vaccines,
Right,
that
right.
form you're talking about? Okay. Mhm.
Over 65 are immunocompromised.
Mhm.
So now this could change, and it could change overnight. Our understanding now, what Dr. Sullivan is getting from the state, is that towns are going to be responsible for distributing the vaccination and giving people the vaccination. The good news is he's gotten 16 volunteers who are willing to help, which shows you what Brookfield's like.
Mhm.
But getting back to the question before, so we have very, very robust security on our internet connections, our firewalls, and the only people who will have access to these documents, because people are telling us their age, they're telling us their physical conditions, if they have problems, and that's all HIPAA protected.
Right.
So the only people who will be able to see that is the Director of Public Health, his direct reports, and obviously the administrative assistant who's entering the data into the database. So we feel very confident that this will be secure, and we're not asking for social security numbers, but it's private information, and we just have to be careful how we use it. The second thing is, and this is what concerns me, is we may have jumped the gun a little bit here, because we're being told by the state that the town will be administering the vaccines, and that we'll be responsible for following the protocol the state sets out. But you know what? That could change. Like in New York State, it's CVS and what's the other one?
Walgreens?
Walgreens are going to be giving out the vaccinations. I don't know how they're going to do it, but the state could say, okay, we changed our mind.
You get your flu shots there.
Right. But the state could say, we're changing our minds, we're going to go to a pharmacy-based vaccination.
Mhm.
But right now, they say the towns are going to be responsible. We have done this before with the H1N1, and we gave out 6,000 vaccinations in about 3 weeks, is what I'm told.
Really? I have a
And we
question for
use-
you, though. If
I'm
if
sorry?
we're using the one that has to be, chilled,
Yeah.
how are we storing something like that?
We would not store it. That vaccine, once you take it out of the freezer, you reconstitute it, it's obviously concentrated, and then it's good for up to 5 days. So my guess is if we're using the minus 94 degree one, we would get enough on Monday morning for 5 days.
Oh, I didn't realize it lasted that long.
It does. My guess is most of those will go to the hospitals and those organizations that have the deep freezes,
Right.
and the Moderna will go to towns and other facilities.
Yeah, that'd be perfect for us.
It would be
Yeah.
perfect. But this is all, and
And-
we've bought 2 refrigerators to hold this.
Mhm. Okay.
These refrigerators are special. They have to have constant temperature monitoring and reporting. So they have systems inside the refrigerators that will, one, warn us if the temperature changes, and 2, keeps a 24-hour record of what the temperature is inside the refrigerator.
And where would we be administering these vaccines?
To be decided. The last time we did it at Wisconsin School, but we could do it at one of the schools if they're still in remote. Even if they're not, we could probably use the high school gym, because that's big enough to be able to separate people. We obviously want to, in some way, shape, or form, set up appointments. We don't want 400 people showing up at 9 a.m. on a Monday. So we would probably say something like, okay, you're 9 to 9:15, you're 9:15 to 9:30, and determine how many people we can handle at a time, and just set up appointments for people.
And we're getting reimbursed from the state or federal for all of this?
Well, my understanding is we'll get the vaccination for free,
Right.
and the volunteers right now are free.
Refrigerators?
We did get a grant for the refrigerators, and we'll be able to use them well past this pandemic. So that's a good thing. But they were like $5,500 for 2 refrigerators,
Wow.
right? And we're
Is
also
that
gonna,
anything the food pantry could use afterwards, or it's really not food quality?
no, it's not food
Yeah.
related.
Yeah.
It's got special equipment in it to maintain temperature and do things like that. So we would continue, because Doc has a refrigerator now that does not require the monitoring, but remember, he gives out flu vaccines, he holds other drugs in there that we're allowed to give out by request. So they won't go unused.
Mhm.
They will continue to be used, and they have to be put under lock and key. And, we're redoing the offices in town halls. So the Director of Public Health will get a office with a lock on it. The refrigerators will have locks on them.
Good.
So we'll have it pretty secure, and we're working to set up a secondary site to hold these vaccines. And I'd rather not say where that is, but it's in a secure location.
Okay.
And that's primarily because if we lose power at town hall, we don't have a generator yet.
Right.
And we would have to know probably within 3 hours or so if the
Mhm.
power went out. And I think we would, but it is possible you could lose a whole batch, right?
Oh, we
We
don't.
don't know
Yeah,
what the
we can't
exact
do that.
rules are.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
where we
can't do
are right
that.
now. But the other thing I want to tell that people should know, and I know we've been getting dozens of calls, when can I sign up? We don't even have the vaccine yet. We don't have the plan. We don't know when we're getting the vaccine. Doc Sullivan tells us probably the earliest we'll get it for distribution is end of January.
Okay.
But if we get it the end of January, we want to be ready and able to go within a day or two of receiving it. And that's why we're doing all this planning ahead of time. So we're ready to go.
Good.
Right. And we'll create the plan and then just start.
And this is for, what categories are we looking at? Seniors?
Yeah, I think what they're going to do, again, we don't have the full data yet, but over 65 and immunocompromised people. So if somebody has an underlying condition that
Right.
makes them very, very vulnerable, I don't know, they've got, you name it, cancer, whatever. That's what we're told they're going to go with first. After healthcare workers, long-term care facilities, then fire, EMS, police, and then we go into next, which is over 65 and immunocompromised. Now, again, they may change that. New York State is starting with over 75. People
Yeah, I
over
saw that.
75.
And essential workers, including grocery stores.
Yes. So, and you can't argue.
It's a moving target.
Yes, yes. But we want to be ready for it. If they do say what we think they're going to say, we'll have that list so we can contact people and set up an appointment for them. Right?
So, Steve, excuse me, Steve. Well, so will we get a list of what is an essential worker?
Yeah. I've already had to start to put together a list within town hall of who's considered essential.
But I mean, when people call up, if they say, I'm a such and such, how do we know whether that is, I mean, is there a list of,
My feeling is essential workers will be taken care of by the hospitals in the first go round. We won't be getting fire, EMS, police
okay,
in our vaccination schedule. They'll be done well before
okay.
towns get any vaccinations,
Mhm.
right? That's my guess. Again, a lot of this is
Mhm.
a moving target, but that seems logical to me. So
And
we'll
we're
see.
prepared. So
Yeah.
that's a good.
So this week on that, this is the holiday season, and I don't want to send out a code red on Christmas Day. I just don't. Unless something massive changes,
Mhm.
I just think let's let everybody enjoy their holiday
Mhm.
and then do a code red next week. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I mean, if something were to come up and if you had to do something on Monday or Tuesday and kind of
Right.
combine the 2 weeks, with a midweek point, so they're not getting it New Year's Day either, but
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
I think my feeling is the less code reds and the less information, which we really have no idea what's valid, what's not valid. I mean, it's valid because we're getting it from what we feel are reliable sources, but I think people need a break from crisis situations. It drives me crazy that the news stations give you a death by death count of people, and people just don't need to see that. We went through this with Vietnam. I mean, if they'd have done in 1960 what they're doing now, that dial would have been going like this for deaths in Vietnam. I mean, I just don't think people need that. I don't need to know every time someone dies from COVID. I know it's horrible and I know it's happening, but
Mhm.
It's a balancing act.
yeah.
I was going to say also, there's so many people who appreciate the, Steve's texts and emails and
Yeah, I haven't
phone
gotten,
calls, and they appreciate, that we're keeping them up to date.
I haven't gotten any phone calls from people saying, hey, you're overdoing this. I have gotten a number of phone calls. Hey, why did you stop doing it? Because we stopped for about a month and a half because there weren't a lot of changes. And we don't need to, overload people.
Yeah.
Otherwise they say, oh God, him again. Delete.
Right. But if we're at 10%, I mean, it's obviously happening in town.
Yep.
We have big numbers, and if hopefully the numbers will go down, everyone, wants to hear that as well. So.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't put anything out on Christmas.
No, okay, so that's what we'll do. We had somebody join us. Do you have any questions, issues, concerns?
Hi,
Yeah, hi.
Joe and Jean, just a surprise.
Oh, we were getting heartbroken.
I know, you were, last meeting you guys had, we were on, you just didn't know we were on.
Oh,
We were worried about you.
yeah, yeah. So how are you
We
guys
were up
doing?
at Happy Landings with all the, with half the police force tonight,
Oh.
just now.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Looking
we,
looking to the sky.
Oh,
No,
that's
looking for the-
right.
Oh, that's tonight, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cloudy though,
Did we
right?
miss it?
Well, we saw it, but it was kind of cloudy.
It's kind of cloudy, it's not that
Oh.
great.
You can still see it tomorrow night and the next night. It just won't be quite as bright, they say.
Oh.
Right.
Is it worth hanging my head out the window now?
No.
No,
Oh my gosh.
Well,
It was
Cass,
800 years ago was the last time?
Galileo,
Yeah,
during the time of
You can catch
Galileo.
it in another 800.
Yeah.
It's 2020. It is just 2020. Of course. Of course it's going to be cloudy today.
Cassie's got an app on her phone that shows the artificial horizon and where it is and which way to look if you hold your phone. And you can hold your
Oh.
phone
We
up
have
to the
the same-
sky and it'll show. It's amazing.
yeah, we have the same thing, Steve.
Yeah. I never heard of anything like that.
It's cool, really cool.
The
So on a
police came
positive
in with
note-
all their lights flashing and everything. It was a big thing.
Something was going on up there with the police, I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, on the police department, we signed in a new officer, swore in a new officer today.
oh, great.
And he's a Brookfield resident. He grew up in Brookfield
Oh,
and is a really nice young man. And I
oh,
think
that's
he's
great.
going to be,
What year did he graduate?
he graduated the year before Connor. And that was about 9 years ago, I think.
Oh, so maybe he was my Drew's year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, 09. Oh, yeah. 09 was Drew. Oh,
Yeah,
But
that's
is-
more than 9 years.
Does this make number 39, Steve?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know. But it was very nice. It was a very quiet ceremony because of COVID, obviously. But extremely nice, smart young man. I think he's going to be a great addition to the police department.
That's great. Welcome.
Okay. So
All right.
Will, Jean, you have anything for us? Any questions, issues, concerns?
No, we were there for the tree lighting that never happened. Us and 4 other cars.
Oh,
It's you can see it virtually on the town website in Parks and Rec. We had
Yeah,
Santa
thanks a
Claus
lot.
light.
oh, Santa Claus lit it? Oh, that's nice.
It was a great Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got him, but man, it was phenomenal.
From the North Pole.
Yeah, that's true. From the North Pole. I forgot that. Right. Yeah, he was great.
Mhm. All right. So we meet again tomorrow night at 7
Yes, for
and
the-
Wednesday at 5:30.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think guess what? I got called to jury duty on the 24th.
You tell them you can't do it?
No. I don't have a good excuse. I'm hoping
You
they
run a
call.
town.
Yeah, no, only judges and police officers
Oh,
can get out of public service. And the governor, I think. The governor doesn't have to.
oh,
But
mhm.
everyone else is subject to being called. Well, you know, it's really weird. The first 20 years I lived in Brookfield, I never got called. And since I lived in this house, I've been called 4 or 5 times, like every 2 years.
They found you.
They found me.
Mhm.
But it's a pretty good system. I've only had to go down to the courthouse once, right? They usually will tell you the night before you're
Right.
not needed, don't come in.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I only had to go down once and I was there for about an hour and then they dismissed everybody. So it
Yeah.
was fine.
My last time I had to go down and I was the second to last to be dismissed at the end of the day.
Really?
It was brutal.
I was exempted.
But I wanted to do it. I was excited. I wanted to do it. Did you do it, Harry?
No, I was exempted.
Why
Oh,
were
you
you exempt?
were.
Yeah.
Business owner?
No age. You can, once you hit a certain age, you don't have to.
Oh.
Then why am I still being called?
Well, I
What's
think I got
that
a few
age?
years. I think I have a few years on you, Steve. So once you hit 70, you don't have to go.
You're
Really?
not 70.
Yeah.
No
Get
way.
there.
In August, I turned 70.
That
No
can't.
way.
I'm serious.
Oh my
Wow.
God, you look 55, if even that.
I feel like about 30. I keep waiting to wake up and be an adult, but that doesn't happen.
Right. I know that feeling.
That was one nice thing, because I know I had got, the last time I got called, I've never had to serve, because you can't know anybody who's involved in that case that you're hearing, and born and raised.
Police officers too. Mhm.
I know, a million people here, so.
Are
Yeah.
I
you
haven't
saying
had to serve, so.
Are you saying you know all the rabble in the?
I do.
Mm.
I do.
Okay. Are there any other issues we need to bring up? You sure, Gene? Will, you don't have anything you want to discuss?
Nope, we're good.
All right.
Let's have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You guys.
Thank you. You
Yes,
too.
thank you.
We'll see you in 2021.
Yeah,
Yes, looking
Looking
forward
forward
to
to
it.
it. Exactly.
I think
Hey,
that,
Steve,
yes.
I know, being the party that you're in, you're going to like to hear this. But last week, the White House was named the most polite municipal building in the United States.
Let me guess.
And it's because if you walk down the halls, all you hear is "Pardon me." No, pardon me. No, pardon me.
Oh, Harry, that's
Get a
funny.
chuckle out of that.
Good for you.
That's a good one. Okay, so I'm gonna call this
right.
meeting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. As usual, we have a massive crowd that we have trouble keeping up with.
They're not showing up because we're not having muffins and coffee in the morning. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that,
Right.
I'll
We'll
make
see
a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sue seconds. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Say aye. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow night.
Bye.
Bye.